Hello everyone. Today, I currently weigh 165.2. That's a good that's straight 2 pounds from yesterday down. Very good. Today, I ate an omelet made by my mom, which had sausage, spinach, cheese, and avocado in it. It was pretty good. Then, I had a cup of coffee. Later in the day, around the middle, I had some barbacoa that our family friend made. It was pretty good. I liked that. Had some water with it. That's pretty much what I ate today. Any exercise? Well, it's a work day today, and that means a whole lot of moving around the store. So, if you can count that as exercise, then yes, I did do exercise. Alright, let's move on to the daily update. So, I woke up at around 9:30, something like that, and I was asked to take out the trash and then help my mom carry the boards outside, these floorboards that we're going to be putting in the room that's being worked on. So I did that. There was 5 stacks. They were packages that contain a whole lot of multiples of boards, and they were all pretty heavy, but we both did it together and we succeeded. So, pretty cool. After that, my mom made breakfast. We ate. We tried to offer my sister, but she wasn't interested. So, after we were done eating, I ended up listening to a podcast from the YouTube channel Simmy and Jimmy on the latest Toxic Avenger movie. His opinion was that it wasn't really holding a candle to the original. Now, I've never seen the original or this new one, so I'm just gonna have to take his word for it. And as I was listening to that, I was playing Another Crab's Treasure on my Nintendo Switch once again. On the Switch version, I'm currently playing through the Flotsam area. However, I have no clue how to open the location with the factory, so I'm having trouble getting through that area. It's pretty confusing. Well, maybe I'll look up a walkthrough. Okay, well, after doing that, I crushed cans while listening to a guy talk about what he deems a Harvard who is using his credentials as a means to grift people who consider themselves UFO believers out of their money by trying to convince people that the Oumuamua rock that landed in our solar system and then got launched up into space when it went underneath the sun like a rocket is the guy was trying to say that it was like a alien spacecraft, but the guy in the video who was debunking him said it wasn't. It was just natural rock that just so happened to perfectly get caught up in the sun's gravitational field and it launched it away. And he basically said that he was using his fame to sell books and appear on podcasts and things like that. The evidence he presented in the video was pretty compelling. I think the YouTube channel name was Professor Dave Explains. Yeah, pretty interesting video. Definitely one of his more edgier videos. Normally a lot of his other videos are just educational. Seems like you'd show it's like a classroom, but this one, he was going full savage mode on this guy. So, pretty interesting seeing that from him. I wasn't seeing it, I was listening to it. Well, after crushing the cans and listening to that, I needed to use the restroom, so I did that. And as I was doing that, I was asking for advice from Grok, because I ran out of my ChatGPT subscription on even more financial information. So, that was fun. Then I had to quickly take a shower, get dressed, leave, and say goodbye to my mom, my sister, and our family friend. I drove to work. When I arrived, I punched in. I needed to do lot for the first hour. The second hour was spent bagging. The third hour was spent doing sweeps. And the fourth hour was spent bagging once again. And I almost forgot to mention, there was some interesting interaction with customers. One thing that I could recall was an older lady with her husband. I was helping them with their groceries, and they said that I used to make jokes, and I was like, oh yeah, I did. Let me see if I can come up with one. I thought about a joke that I heard in the Laffy Taffy game from last night. It was like, why does a detective always bring an umbrella? And then she said, I don't know. Why does a detective always bring an umbrella? Because he likes working undercover. And she thought that was pretty funny. Yeah. And then I brought her groceries outside for her. Yeah, she was asking me if I had any plans, and I said, well, I do have a YouTube channel I'm working on, but I don't work on it frequently enough. But that's going to change. Need to redirect my energy towards that for sure. That was probably the most interesting interaction I remember, other than talking with one of my coworkers about plaque buildup in your body from eating too much red meat. Yeah. Alright, well, when I punched out for lunch, I went to home, where luckily our family friend cooked some barbacoa, which was very good. I had that with our family friend, my mom and my sister. It was a good family eats event. We had a nice conversation. Then I left, drove back to work, and I was a pre-closer. However, the main difference today was that my main closer partner had never done closing before. So I was given a lot of the heavy lifting duty things like the trash, the making sure every check stand had bags filled, making sure that all the check stands were clean and ready to go for tomorrow. And yeah, very strenuous, sometimes there's a lot of customers that show up, so you gotta stop what you're doing and help the customers, and then you gotta go back to doing what you need to get done. But yeah, it was nice and productive, I would say. Well, I was able to get everything done, and I said goodbye to my boss, or one of my bosses, I would say, my coworker. I drove home. When I got home, I made sure to park up in the driveway because tomorrow we have our street being worked on, and we're apparently not allowed to drive on the street for like 8 hours for a while. So that means I'm gonna have to walk to work tomorrow, which is kind of annoying, but hey, it's fairly close by, so it's not that big of a deal. Plus, I need the exercise. And when I got the car up, I brought the trash bins in, and then I went inside, and I noticed my mom and sister were watching a old movie. I forget exactly what it was called, but it was like an interesting play kind of story, black and white, from the 1950s, or no, 1930s actually, 33. And it was like a really high energy play, very creative and interesting looking. But it wasn't a play, it was a play within a movie. Yeah, if I remember the name of the film, I'll let you know. But after watching some of that, I split, and then I got on my phone and I started watching a video of different historical pictures being brought to life using AI, which was very interesting to look at. Seeing these historical faces move for the first time was quite an experience, I would say. From our first president ever photographed, the youngest picture of Abraham Lincoln, to the first photographs taken of a woman and a man. Really interesting. Then afterwards, I got in a rabbit hole of a voice actor who was a prominent voice actor from the 1950s all the way to the 1980s. I think he's best known for that duck character from those old 1960s Disney TV specials, but that's really all I can remember. But he's done a bunch of other stuff. It was pretty interesting hearing his voice. He was very much a chameleon. I don't remember his name, sadly, but it was an interesting video. Then, after that, I was watching guys, special effects artists, debunk UFO and alien videos, and they did a really good job debunking each one of them by providing factual-based evidence. It was very good indeed. Then I realized I probably should make my video, so here it is. And that concludes this episode, my life, I suppose. I'm going to go to bed very soon. Take my vitamins, brush my teeth, go to sleep. I'm going to wake up early tomorrow because I need to get a good walking head start to work. So I also need to get ready and eat too. Well, that's pretty much all there's to say for now. Thank you for watching, and I will see you in the next video. Bye everybody. Take care.